fallout has begun from the not guilty verdict handed down by the jury yesterday in the case of Umar Zameer.
Jurors found the 34-year-old accountant did not intentionally kill Toronto Police Detective Constable Jeffrey Northrop. And tonight we're hearing about the first actions being taken in the wake of that verdict. John Woodward has been following this, and he joins us now live. John.
Michelle, this started with Zamir being accused. Now the investigation that could have put him behind bars for life is itself under the microscope. It was a simple, compelling story that was woven by then Constable Lisa Forbes on the stand. That Detective Constable Jeffrey Northrop was run down, standing up, arms out. The police chief saying something similar at the time.
We believe this was an intentional and deliberate act.
But Toronto Superior Court heard testimony by Forbes and two other officers didn't match the evidence. No sign of impact on the BMW driven by Umar Zameer just after Canada Day 2021, and it wasn't in the grainy video of the incident either.
There were very different circumstances than how it was portrayed initially.
Lawyers wondering how police and Crown attorneys didn't put the pieces together before the case fell apart at trial. A jury found Zamir not guilty, heeding the judge's warnings of collusion between officers and apparently believing his lawyer's argument he didn't know the people were plainclothes police and fled. The death a tragic accident.
The Crown's office works hand in glove every day with the Toronto Police Service. It is just human and natural that they are going to feel some pressure.
The judge apologized to Zamir, some suggesting a special prosecutor could have provided some objectivity in a highly politicized case. Even the Premier had tweeted his outrage that Zamir got bail in 2021.
For the Premier, and I think John Tory, to comment on that, a specific case, was wrong. Totally wrong. The Premier should apologize.
A word from Doug Ford. The Attorney General simply said prosecution decisions made by the Crown are made without political input.
I think we need more accountability and transparency, and I expect there will be, and I hope there will be lessons learned from this case.
Also in the spotlight, protocol for plainclothes officers.
This is going to raise a whole new set of questions and inquiries for the police, not just in Toronto, but maybe right across the country.
The mayor staying out of it.
It's a tragic situation, and my condolence to everyone that are involved.
Toronto's police chief under fire for saying Sunday he hoped Zamir would have gone to prison despite the evidence at trial. Late Monday, the chief asked the OPP to review the case in light of the judge's comments and started an internal review of plainclothes procedures. He said in a statement, "I respect the judicial process and I accept the decision of the jury. Perhaps closure in a tragic event of this magnitude will come with time. As chief, I was acknowledging the emotions many of us were feeling while struggling with the death of a fellow officer. But of course, closure can never come at the expense of justice." As he did on the stand, Zamir apologized for his role in the death Sunday.
"I never meant any of this to happen. I am sorry for what had happened."
As Zamir was fighting that murder charge, Constable Lisa Forbes was promoted. She is now Sergeant Forbes. The Crown said in a statement it believed the event was serious enough to warrant a trial to determine accountability. The OPP have just told us they have received the Toronto Police's request and will act on it. And it is not clear what results this review will have for those subject officers. Reporting live, I'm John Woodward. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, John. And we have a developing story on the 401 tonight, causing traffic tie-ups for many people on their way home from work. This is a look from the CTV News chopper over the 401 near Highway 412 in Whitby. The crash appears to involve a transport truck and a pickup truck hauling a trailer. It happened in the eastbound lanes near Brock Street. The 401 is now closed at Lake Ridge, causing significant backups. So far, no word on any injuries.
The Premier calls it the largest deal in Canadian history. Word tonight, Honda will be announcing a multi-billion-dollar plan to build new facilities here in Ontario.
And those facilities will build both batteries for electric vehicles and the vehicles themselves. CTV's Mike Walker is live tonight with more details on the proposal. Mike.
Well, Nathan, Michelle, the new facility will reportedly be built near Honda's manufacturing facility in Allison. It would be the third EV battery plant in Ontario. There are 4,200 employees at Honda's manufacturing plant in Alliston, and the automaker's workforce there is set to get a major boost.
Here in Ontario, we become a world leader in the electric vehicle revolution.
With Premier Doug Ford teasing an impending announcement for a new electric battery plant today without naming the automaker.
This week, we've landed a new deal. It'll be the largest deal in Canadian history. It'll be double the size of Volkswagen.
The Canadian press is reporting Honda is planning to build the electric battery plant near its manufacturing facility in Alliston, where it also plans to produce electric vehicles. The Economic Development Minister wouldn't confirm if the Premier was referencing Honda, but suggested a major deal is on the horizon.
I want to acknowledge where the company is located or where they're planning on locating.
An EV battery plant from Honda would be the third in Ontario, following previous deals with Ottawa and the province with the Stellantis-LG partnership in Windsor and the Volkswagen facility in St. Thomas, poised to open in 2027.
We went from 0 to 28 billion in 3 years. And if the Premier, if his comments are correct, then next week we'll be announcing $43 billion in EV or a number in and around there.
Honda's deal is expected to include capital commitments and tax credits.
Well, what we've seen from Honda first is that for 4 decades they've invested incrementally in Ontario and Canada and in the supply chain here, never retreating. Honda doesn't make speculative bets.
This news comes as Tesla recently laid off 14,000 workers, and Ford delayed electric vehicle production at its Oakville plant by 2 years.
We need some answers, some accountability, and I hope that whatever deal is being worked out here, that there's some strings attached, because we've seen what happens in Oakville, for example, where workers are still waiting to know what's going to happen there.
Calling on the government, bring back EV chargers to the building code, roll out an EV charging network, bring back rebates.
The federal government has not offered any insight when asked about the deal. The announcement expected later this week. A spokesperson for Honda says the automaker doesn't have any details to share at this time. Reporting live on Mike Walker. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Still ahead tonight, on the heels of the new EV plant announcement, a new survey shows less than half of Canadians are interested in purchasing an EV as their next vehicle. Pat Foran will have more on why Canadians aren't getting charged up about EVs.
But first, let's take a journey outdoors. It has been a really lovely day across the region, and many of the people getting out to enjoy it are stopping by High Park, where the cherry blossoms, as you can see there, are in peak bloom. We'll have more on that a little later in the newscast. But first, we have to bring in Jessica Smith for a look at the current conditions. Looks like perfect conditions for taking in those cherry blossoms.
Fantastic. And those two ladies dancing in the corner of the screen there, they were having a fantastic time. That's the kind of joy this weather brings, right? It makes you want to dance. It's really beautiful outside. If you are heading down to see the cherry blossoms, a wonderful day from start to finish. We are, though, watching a system on its way in, sitting kind of in northern Ontario, right along the border with Manitoba, set to bring a little unsettled weather into the day tomorrow. But for now, sunny, seasonal, and really beautiful with a southerly wind. Temperature-wise, we're kind of in the mid double digits for the most part. A little cooler out towards Kingston, but it is fantastic no matter where you are. Through the island and over towards Pearson, we're between about 10 and 13 degrees, a little breezier over towards Pearson. But overall, as we head in towards the evening, light wind, no clouds, fantastic. That changes, though, into the day tomorrow. Those details in a moment. Michelle, I'll send things back over to you.
Thank you, Jessica. Gearing up for Game 2 after a dismal effort in the series opener. The Leafs are looking for payback tonight in Boston. Just ahead, CTV Sean Lee Thong live outside Scotiabank Arena, where thousands of fans are gathering to take in tonight's game on the big screen.
2 people were injured in a fire at a downtown high-rise overnight. Emergency crews were called to 140 the Esplanade at around 4:30 in the morning for reports of a fire in a second-floor unit. Toronto Fire says the flames were contained to a single unit and quickly put out. 2 people were treated on scene by paramedics, with 1 suffering from smoke inhalation. The cause of the fire remains under investigation.
Firefighters in London, Ontario had to deal with a moving fire last night. A number of social media videos showing a train on fire rolling through a part of the city's downtown. This happened around 11 o'clock. 5 of the train's cars were carrying wooden railway ties that were on fire. Once firefighters got this fire under control, the train was moved to a nearby rail yard. Damage is estimated at more than $35,000.
Transit riders received some good news today. A tentative deal between the TTC and one of its employee unions avoided possible service disruptions. The union, representing more than 650 communications, electrical, and signal workers, has set a midnight strike deadline. TTC CEO Rick Leary calls the agreement fair for both the TTC and the workers represented by CUPE Local 2. Terms of the agreement have not been released. The tentative deal still needs to be ratified by the union and members of the TTC board.
It's a concerning trend with potentially deadly consequences.
Tonight, a Toronto teen is fighting for his life after he attempted to ride on top of a GO train over the weekend. CTV's Raheem Ladani's live tonight with the latest. Raheem.
Nathan and Michelle, good evening. The latest update from police is that this 15-year-old boy is still in life-threatening condition in what appears to be a case of train surfing gone tragically wrong. From Vancouver to New York and even Barcelona, train surfing has evolved into a worldwide social media trend. However, those videos may be the reason a 15-year-old boy is now fighting for his life.
Probably curiosity and seeing other people do it on social media. He was transported to hospital where he remains in life-threatening condition.
Just before midnight Saturday, 4 youths between 14 and 16 years old boarded a GO train at Toronto's Union Station. As the train traveled east, police say 3 of them went onto the roof. A short while later, a 15-year-old boy was hit by a stationary object and fell off the train. Those hearing about the incident say,
even when I was 15, I wasn't thinking about doing stuff like that.
It feels like every generation is escalating what it is they can do and what exactly they can perform to kind of like show off to their friends.
This isn't the first time this stunt has happened in Toronto. In 2022, the TTC investigated this train surfing video on the Scarborough RT. And last year, a teenager died while climbing on a moving TTC subway near Warden Station.
Sort of glad my kids grew up when they didn't have a lot of the social media pressures. I'm not sure what I would do now.
Neuroscientists say these types of trends are a growing concern among young people.
Going to the extremes of novelty seeking and engaging in really dangerous behaviors. But at the same time, they can lack awareness about the consequences.
Consequences which can impact the rest of their lives. Metrolink says that it is helping law enforcement with its investigation while police haven't said if any charges will be laid. Reporting live, I'm Raheem Ladani. I'll send it back to you both in studio.
Thank you, Raheem. Road work will partially shut down a portion of King Street this week. Starting today, the westbound lanes on King Street West between Dufferin and Joe Schuster Way are closed. One eastbound lane will remain open. The closure is expected to be in place until Sunday. And then starting next Monday, there will be full road closures in the area around a rolling work zone until September. This work is being done to replace aging streetcar tracks and old water mains in the area.
For even the most die-hard Leafs fans, it's tough to remain optimistic after losing 5-1 to the Bruins in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
But tonight is Game 2, and the team is looking for redemption, and so too are their fans. CTV's Sean Leathong is live outside Scotiabank Arena, where some of those fans are gathering to watch the game on the big screen tonight. Sean, what's the mood like?
Well, you can feel it around here. This game's just playing pretty loud, but the Leaf fans that we spoke to today said they're not afraid of what can happen in Game 2. They've seen pretty much everything. They've seen it all from right here. Leaf fans have had their hearts broken in the past. They lost Game 1, but you feel the crowd tonight. They're optimistic because this is the place to be optimistic. They say the Leafs will win tonight, and they think they're going to keep going.
Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go!
If you're looking for playoff optimism, there's no better place than Maple Leaf Square.
The Bruins are a scary team, but I think we got Game 2! I think we have it!
It's an easy win. They got Ullmark in net. He's nothing. It's Leafs in 5 all day, baby.
Down 1-0 to Boston in the series, fans can only see one possibility for Game 2 against the Bruins tonight.
We're coming back the second game, and we're winning. It's going to be Leafs in 5. Leafs in 5. 5.
Rushed in with Riley.
Recent playoff history aside, there is plenty to test a fan's faith. After losing 5-1 in Game 1, a game where the Leafs had plenty of energy but just couldn't generate results, it has to be pointed out that Boston has won all 5 games these two teams have played this season.
You got to have faith or it's not going to look good.
I think the passion starts right now. This is where it gets started. This is where it starts.
And the team was missing star winger William Nylander, who was skating this morning, but it's unknown if he'll be in the lineup tonight. According to the team, winning is a matter of a few small adjustments.
Well, we just got to stay with our game. A lot of elements that we like, and we got to continue to amplify as well. But correct some things, and
play in lots of ways like we did the other night. Just make a few less mistakes and finish a few of our chances.
But when the puck drops at 7 p.m., these fans want a reason to let loose, and with their faith, they've earned it.
So if you look at the crowd we've got here, just take a look at how far back they go tonight. The place is completely packed here outside the arena, Maple Leaf Square, hoping, knowing, they say, that the Leafs will win Game 2. Big question mark, I guess, is still William Nylander. No word on whether he will go tonight, but he was skating in a group of what would otherwise be scratches, so the feeling is William Nylander may not be on the ice for the Leafs tonight, so they've got to play well if they're going to pull off Game 2. But for now, Nathan, I'll throw it back to you inside.
All right, hopefully. Thank you, Sean. The federal government detailed its national plastics registry today.
It is hard to tackle a problem if you don't know what it is, where it is, what's being produced. How could we fight climate change if we didn't have annual greenhouse gas inventories, looking at what different industries are producing in terms of GHG? Are they reducing? Are they increasing?
The registry will first apply to single-use plastic products, electronics, and makers of plastic packaging. They'll be required to report every year on how much plastic they make and where those products end up. They plan to eventually extend the registry to include producers of resins, tires, and agricultural products. Tomorrow, negotiations for a global treaty to end plastic waste begin in Ottawa.
The announcement, quite fitting, being made on Earth Day. This year's theme is Planet versus Plastic. The environmental movement is calling for the elimination of plastics for the sake of both human and planetary health. Plastic production is projected to triple by the year 2050 if no action is taken. Earth Day was first marked in 1970 and now includes a series of globally coordinated events in more than 193 countries.
In Israel, the head of military intelligence resigned. Major General Aharon Haliva stepped down in the wake of the deadly October 7th Hamas attack. He is the first senior figure to resign over his role in the failure to anticipate or quickly respond to the deadly assault. 1,200 people were killed and about 250 hostages were taken in the Hamas-led attack that set off the war.
Columbia University canceled in-person classes today following an anti-war protest at its New York City campus last week. 2 people were taken into custody during a pro-Palestinian demonstration at the school hours after the class cancellation announcement was made. The university says the decision was made to de-escalate tensions on the campus. Protesters set up a tent encampment on the school's main lawn last week. And at Yale today, police arrested dozens of people at a demonstration there. Protesters blocked traffic around the campus in New Haven, Connecticut. They want the university to divest from military weapons manufacturers. There have been demonstrations at other universities across the U.S. as well.
Jewish people around the world are preparing to celebrate Passover, but it's expected to take on a more somber tone this year. One of the hardest hit communities in this October 7th attack set communal dinner tables with yellow napkins representing the hostages. The community lost 100 people and 30 others were taken hostage. Many cedar tables in Israel and elsewhere are expected to have empty seats. Some families have asked rabbis to give them additional prayers for this year's Seder. The week-long holiday begins this Monday evening and marks the biblical exodus of Jews from Egypt.
Ukraine's president says it is a deliberate attempt to make his country's second-largest city uninhabitable. A Russian missile strike broke a television tower in half in Kharkiv today. There were no casualties, but the attack knocked out the digital signal to the region. Volodymyr Zelensky says it was an obvious attempt at intimidation so that the terror was visible to the whole city. He says it was also an attempt to limit Kharkiv's access to communication and information.
Donald Trump's hush money trial got underway in New York today with opening statements.
Prosecutors told the jury the former U.S. president tried to illegally influence the 2016 election. The defense countered by insisting no crimes were committed and the case has no merit. CTV's Joy Malbin reports.
Donald Trump had plenty to say beforehand.
I did nothing wrong also. This is a Biden witch hunt to keep me off the campaign trail.
Trump forced to sit silently in a New York courtroom, no longer in control, as prosecutors in the first criminal trial of a U.S. president laid out their case against him. Prosecutor Matthew Colangelo says this case is about a criminal conspiracy, alleging that Trump lied over and over again to cover up a sex scandal to corrupt the 2016 presidential election, and then falsified his business records to hide it from voters. Trump's lawyers pushed back, telling the jury paying hush money to porn stars like Stormy Daniels is not a crime. Trump was simply trying to protect his family, his reputation, and his brand. The first witness, David Pecker, once a personal friend and National Enquirer publisher. The prosecution says Pecker offered to act as the eyes and ears of the Trump campaign, and that Trump, his lawyer Michael Cohen, a key witness, and Pecker hatched a scheme to catch and kill several damaging stories about Trump. The prosecution said the Access Hollywood tape where Trump was caught talking about groping women was explosive.
Your star, they let you do it.
Weeks before the election, and fearing that female voters would be turned off, that's when the Enquirer heard about Stormy Daniels.
All of it seedy, salacious, and very serious for Donald Trump, who wants to be president again. He faces 34 criminal counts and says he plans to testify in his own defense. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
Coming up, could this be part of the solution to the housing crisis? Quicker to build and more affordable. We dig into modular homes and their potential to help ease the shortage.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, the government is encouraging drivers to go green and buy electric cars, but a new survey finds interest in purchasing EVs is slipping. Some drivers have concerns about batteries, cold weather, and the charging network. I'll have my report just ahead.
And whether you're saying go Leafs go or oh no Leafs, oh no, the weather will be pretty nice if you're going to be outside at Maple Leaf Square if you're still thinking about heading down or just setting up outside in your own backyard. We'll be at around 11 degrees with that south wind a little breezy. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, including some rain on the way. And stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
The federal government wants all new cars sold in Canada to be electric by 2035, but there are concerns that target may be unrealistic.
Companies like Tesla say they're seeing a drop in electric car sales, and a recent survey found many Canadians aren't ready to make the switch. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Nathan and Michelle, the survey by Auto Trader found that more than half of Canadians say they don't want to buy an electric car as their next vehicle. They have concerns about charging stations, cold weather, and battery life.
I was totally in shock. I was blown away.
Darren Smith of Mississauga has a 2016 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. It has less than 100,000 kilometers and it's been in the shop for almost 3 months. It needs a new engine, which will be covered under warranty, but it also needs electrical repairs and a new hybrid battery that will cost him almost $15,000.
Maybe I would look at buying a new vehicle. However, it wouldn't be a hybrid. And it's not going to be full electric. I'm going gas this time.
The intention to purchase an EV has declined second year in a row.
According to Auto Trader, in 2022, 68% of Canadians were interested in buying an electric vehicle. In 2023, it dropped to 56%, and this year it dropped again to 46%. Part of the reason is the cost of electric cars, which sell for 15 to 20% more than gas-powered cars.
Consumers are a bit hesitant, and vehicle purchasing cost is top of mind for obvious reasons.
A group that represents auto manufacturers says another issue hurting sales is the lack of EV chargers across Canada.
We are seeing a slowdown in interest from Canadian consumers, and that is largely related to a lack of charging infrastructure and an ongoing price gap between a gas-powered vehicle and an electric vehicle.
Of drivers who are interested in purchasing an electric vehicle, 62% would consider buying a hybrid. CTV News reached out to Hyundai Canada about Smith's situation, and the company agreed to replace his hybrid battery and cover all other costs, which was great news for him.
So thanks to you and the crew at CTV News, we were able to get this come to a conclusion, a resolution. So it's great. Pat, thank you so much. It's been incredible.
And about 11% of new car sales are electric, and the industry says prices should continue to come down. 75% of those asked said they feel it's unlikely Canada will reach its target to sell only electric cars in 2035. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
As the country grapples with a housing shortage, there's a push at Toronto City Hall to examine a prefab solution.
A renewed interest in modular home technology that could offer an out-of-the-box way to build homes fast. CTV's Natalie Johnson has the story.
In this Ancaster manufacturing facility, a five-star hotel earmarked for Coachella in California is being built piece by piece. A start-to-finish modular technology.
Modular, in a sense, is basically Lego blocks to build a larger dwelling unit,
where the puzzle pieces are produced at a rapid rate.
These units can be manufactured in days, not months, not years, but days.
The facade of the building is fully finished.
3 of these modules are finished in the factory every day.
I'll take you guys in.
Combined, 64 of them will form the luxury hotel.
15 feet frontage.
And will start shipping out to the Colorado desert later this month. Everything built in except the furniture.
It just feels no other than any other five-star hotel.
But when it comes to timeline, the turnaround is far from traditional. Beck Modular Systems is expanding its Ancaster facility, ramping up its production capacity to 1,250 modules a year.
This is our welding lines here. And behind you, you see the cold form rolling machines where we basically produce the joists for the chassis.
Attaining a level of efficiency that can't be matched.
It doesn't rain here, doesn't snow here.
In an outdoor environment.
We basically build them in here anywhere between 2 weeks to 4 weeks, depending on the size of the home. So it's a lot faster, and also it's a lot cheaper as well, anywhere between 30 to 50% cheaper.
This type of modular technology has caught the eye of officials at Toronto City Hall, where council recently gave the green light to expanding the roster of pre-qualified vendors so that more rapid build construction companies can do business with the city.
This stuff is solid. Steel chassis comes together really nicely.
Toronto Councillor Brad Bradford leading the charge on opening up the process to create more competition and spur supply.
When you have new players and new companies standing up every month across the country, we as a municipality and local governments need to be able to respond to that change in the market, embrace these new technologies, and make sure that our procurement is not the red tape that's standing in the way of housing.
It's a type of technology that the city has slowly moved to bring online, like the supportive housing complex at 540 Cedarvale in East York. Beck recently shipped out these affordable housing units for a development in Ottawa, and this video shows a similar project being pieced together on site in Chatham, Kent. With most of the work already done in the factory, the modules are close to completion by the time they arrive at their destination.
We are trying to close the gap on 3 million housing units across the country. Rapid build technologies like this are going to be essential to closing that gap.
In Toronto, the city is looking to free up parking lots and other publicly owned land for housing developments and has federal money for modular homes to spend.
The objective here is speed, getting these things done faster and making sure we can deliver them to market quickly. You can see the tight tolerances in what they're building, and then ultimately how that translates into more housing in more neighborhoods in cities like Toronto.
An alternative to the way homes have always been built from scratch on site.
Construction industry is really lagging behind in terms of using the technology application and industrial manufacturing.
With a little less red tape now in their path, these real-life Legos hold the potential to become homes for a city in need.
This really is going to be the future of housing.
Another piece of the puzzle. Natalie Johnson, CTV News.
All right, to the forecast, a really nice start to the work weeks. Clear skies, mild, and you've got the cherry blossoms at peak bloom.
It is glorious. Not surprising why all those people have flocked there. It's absolutely wonderful. And that blue sky, I know those pictures are going to be gorgeous.
That's what I mean. There's content for days going on out there, but it is fantastic. It's probably one of the nicer days this week. We're kind of in the middle of that. It gets a little messy, then we're bookended by really nice weather. So it's not a write-off for the rest of the week by any means, but it just won't be as sunny as we head into our Tuesday and Wednesday. Weather is brought to you by Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop. a train. A bit of a breezier southerly wind, but to be honest, with the south wind, it's making it really nice outside. We're at 16 through Windsor, 13 here in the city. Our friends in Thunder Bay still sitting at 17 degrees. And as we tiptoe in towards the weekend, we're getting into those more spring-like and, dare I say, summer-like temperatures. But for now, very seasonal. As we head into this evening, sitting around 8, we should be at 5. So we're still in that normal range. And we're staying really clear right through the overnight. So if you're going to be getting out for a walk this evening, a beautiful night to do so. Into the day tomorrow, very seasonal across the board. And we do start off relatively clear. It's not until the afternoon and evening when the system starts to make its way in. And it will not be a washout or an all-day rain affair. It's a series of lows kind of making their way from the southern prairies that will track down across the Great Lakes and bring some soggy weather as we get through our Tuesday. That high pressure gets pushed out. The rain makes its way in along with a bit of a cold front. And with that comes a slight cool down. Timing everything out again for the rest of our evening, really beautiful if you're going to head out this evening and then into the day tomorrow. The line of showers goes from Sault Ste. Marie down towards Windsor. For us, it's just a little bit of cloud cover to start the day, so dry for your commute to work, beneficial for a lot of folks. And then as we head into that midpoint of our days when the line of showers moves towards us, likely into the north and kind of east end of the city, it won't be a soaker for everybody, but it's as we head in towards that evening commute that the rain moves in more kind of consistently for southwestern Ontario, and that includes us here in the GTA. It pushes out overnight, and we start off our Wednesday with the chance of showers, maybe even a little bit of mixing. We saw some grapple over the weekend that kind of looks like hail, but not quite. And then as we head in towards the second half of our Wednesday, it clears out, high pressure comes in, and just a whole lot of sunshine out there. Temperature-wise, very seasonal. Into the day tomorrow, after the rain pushes out and that cold front is when it gets a little cooler. Just 9 as we head in towards our Wednesday, -1 overnight. Thursday, Friday, sunshine, sunshine. Really beautiful to spend some time outside. Still below seasonal on Thursday for our daytime high, but it almost feels a little bit better, at least when it's sunny outside. By the time we get to Friday, back up to where we should be. A little rain into the weekend, but those daytime highs tiptoeing towards 20 degrees, Nathan. I'll take it. I'll send things back over to you.
Not bad. Thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
Also tonight, dental care at your doorstep. A new program is offering thousands of long-term care residents free checkups and procedures. We catch up with one of the mobile units in moments. A former cardiac surgery patient is helping to educate new patients with a one-of-a-kind program at Sunnybrook Health Sciences.
And the program seems to have a calming effect. Our health reporter Pauline Chan has more.
Don't shave your arms, don't shave your legs. They will do that for you at the hospital. If you happen to do so by yourself and you nick yourself, you do run the risk of infection, and thus you could have your surgery canceled.
Each Monday for about an hour, Jay Davis gets into all the nitty-gritty of having cardiac surgery for upcoming patients at Sunnybrook. It was something he felt he needed to do after his own experiences in 2014 when he had a triple bypass and was prepped by 2 health professionals.
I left that room more afraid of this surgery than when I walked in. Everything was clinical.
To have a non-physician, a non-nurse reach out who's been through it and says things from their perspective is a very calming effect on patients.
Davis's surgeon, Dr. Stephen Freem, says this level of peer support before surgery and again after surgery sets Sunnybrook apart.
Every hospital has pre-admission and pre-admission teaching. I think we're unique, though, in this aspect of pre-admission care.
The surgeries are mainly for bypasses, valve replacements, and aneurysms. Judy House says although doctors and therapists are experts, not many of them have actually been through heart surgery themselves.
I think first and foremost, I wanted to know that it wasn't going to be horrendously painful. And it wasn't.
House says she did have complications after her surgery, but being prepped in this way helped her to deal with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's actually mine.
Davis, who has a tattoo of his own cardiogram and surgery date, says his bypass changed his life, teaching him to stress less and appreciate more. And helping to put other patients at ease is his way of giving back. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Dental services direct to long-term care residents.
The city and province have partnered up to provide free care right at the doorstep of city-run homes. CTV's Beth McDonnell reports.
They are dentist offices on wheels making their way around Toronto.
part of a new mobile dental care program for residents in city-run long-term care homes.
Everything is on site, so it's accessible, it's timely, and it's free.
The two vans are equipped to handle patients using wheelchairs and do a wide range of services from cleaning, fillings and x-rays to surgery and dentures. Traveling to 10 nursing homes, teams are ready to help more than 2,600 patients.
To promote health and equity by providing dental care to those who could otherwise not afford it or easily access it.
The vans have already visited Kipling Acres long-term care home, Castleview Witchwood Towers, and here at Bendel Acres, with residents looking forward to giving it a try.
Excited, happy, and grateful.
Jovita de Guzman is 92 years old and is dealing with a few dental issues that are expensive. While not everyone is eligible for the mobile clinic depending on their insurance, she qualifies for some of the services.
If I go to the clinic, I have to take a taxi or somebody can drive me, or it's hard. I mean, it's winter, the roads.
The provincial government funded the program with Toronto Public Health doing the dental work. If unchecked, it can lead to problems.
They don't eat well, they don't smile well, and if there is an infection, it can lead them sometimes into the emergency.
It's about making sure that seniors have access to the right care in the right place.
Helping bridge the link between oral care and overall health. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Back and in full effect. High Park's cherry blossoms are drawing massive crowds. We take a peek at peak bloom after the break.
There were very different circumstances than how it was portrayed initially.
Updating our top stories, the fallout has begun after yesterday's not guilty verdict in the trial of Umar Zameer. Tonight, Toronto's police chief has asked the OPP to conduct an independent review of plainclothes policing procedures. The chief clarified a statement he made yesterday saying he accepts the jury's verdict and respects the judicial process.
This week, we've landed a new deal. It'll be the largest deal in Canadian history. It'll be double the size of Volkswagen.
There's word tonight Honda is planning a multi-billion-dollar investment in Ontario with plans to build facilities that create both electric vehicles and the batteries that power them. The official announcement is expected later this week.
Well, we just got to stay with our game. A lot of elements that we like, and we got to continue to amplify as well. But correct some things, and
play in lots of ways like we did the other night. Just make a few less mistakes and finish a few of our chances.
And the Leafs get set for Game 2 after a loss in their playoff opener. Fans are gathering outside Scotiabank Arena, hoping the Leafs even up the series tonight in Boston before they return to Toronto for Game 3. Stock markets rebounded today after a wave of selling last week. Andrew Bell of B&M Bloomberg has the latest in business.
Hello there. Investors moved back into the big U.S. tech stocks today after last week's slide, and they pushed America's S&P 500 index back above the 5,000 mark again. Companies accounting for almost half of the index's market value are due to report their results this week, and hopes are high for the magnificent 7 mega-cap companies, whose profits are forecast to rise nearly 40%. The S&P 500 gained just under 1% today, while Toronto was ahead about 1/3%. On the markets, the Canadian dollar traded at 72.98 US cents, up about 1/4 cent. WTI oil, the North American benchmark, was at $81.90, down 32 cents. Western Canadian Select Oil, the Alberta Bellwether grade, was at $69.26, up 5 cents. And the TSX Composite ended the day at 21,871.96, up just under 65 points. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of B&N Bloomberg.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
Ford has recalled more than 55,000 trucks and SUVs. The callback affects 2021 to 2024 Bronco Sport SUVs and 2022 Maverick trucks. Transport Canada reports a battery issue could increase the risk of a crash. Ford Canada says dealers will fix the issue by June. The company recalled nearly 3,000 small Bronco Sport and Escape SUVs in Canada earlier this month due to gas issues.
Express Inc. has filed for bankruptcy. The fashion retailer plans to shut down more than 100 locations. The company struggled to gain traction with consumers in recent years. Retail experts say it hasn't adapted to the rise in demand for casual wear and the decline of formal and smart casual wear. Express says it's received $35 million in new financing from existing lenders and has a potential buyer for most of its stores and operations.
The head coach of Canada's men's national basketball team was hired today as bench boss for the Brooklyn Nets. Jordi Fernandez led Canada to a bronze medal in last year's Basketball World Cup. He joins a Brooklyn team looking to bounce back after missing the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. The Spaniard spent the last 2 seasons as associate head coach of the Sacramento Kings.
The ship that will take the Olympic flame to Paris has arrived in Greece. The 3-masted French vessel sailed into a port near Athens today. The flame will be handed over to Paris organizers at the Athens Stadium Friday and then depart the next day for France on board the ship. It will arrive in Marseille on May 8th, where the French leg of the 68-day torch relay begins. The opening ceremony is on July 26th. Just ahead, a magical spring site drawing visitors from near and far. The cherry blossoms at Hyde Park are in full bloom. We'll take you on a tour in moments.
Tonight, nature's spring spectacle in full bloom.
And that means more than 70% of the blossoms are now open.
The race to catch a glimpse of the pink petals before it's too late. That story and more later on CTV National News.
And a reminder, the CTV News at 6 podcast is available as a download every weeknight. And we say hi to those of you listening to the newscast live on News Talk 1010.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Finally tonight, it's peak bloom day for the Hyde Park cherry blossoms.
And as they do every year, thousands took a walk in the park to experience the sights and take some selfies. CTV's Janice Golding was among those checking out the blossoms and had this report.
A beautiful day for a beautiful sight.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Hyde Park's cherry blossoms are back, and so too are their admirers.
How long have you been coming to see the cherry blossoms?
Not very long, actually. Only for about 55 years.
You lose count when you have gray hair.
And there's a lot to admire. More than 2,000 sakura trees, the majority first gifted to Torontonians in April 1959 by the Japanese ambassador to Canada. A thank you for supporting refugees after the Second World War.
They're beautiful. They're amazing.
Today, Hyde Park sakuras hit peak bloom for the year, and that has piqued the interest of Torontonians and tourists alike.
It's my first time to be here, never been here, and I just experienced the beauty of the nature, and I see people around enjoying. That's beautiful.
Hyde Park's Nature Center says peak bloom starts when at least 70% of the blossoms are open.
Anywhere between 4 to 10 days, depending on the weather.
Given this is the best window in which to enjoy the flowers, the Deschamps family played hooky today.
It's only for 1 week, so today was the nicest day all week, so I thought we'd come today. Really busy, but it's worth it.
What's the best part, the flowers or not being in school?
Not being in school.
Now for many, the pilgrimage has always been a family affair.
Every year I used to come here with my mom, and she passed away last year, and one of my best friends came here with me to enjoy this beautiful moment, embracing the beautiful memories of spring and new beginnings, remembering Delilah.
It's also a time to make new memories.
So you guys are supposed to be taking pictures of the cherry blossoms, not your lunch or juice boxes. What's this all about?
We actually took a lot of them, but we're tired, and we want to make memories together.
And memories these days are often preserved online.
Are you guys happy with the photos you took?
Yeah, it's good.
Which means these ladies endured a little discomfort to capture the mood.
Hey, look at you. Are you not a little chilly?
I am. So we just wanted to match the cherry blossom vibes and everything.
A picture-perfect day for a picture-perfect moment. Janice Golding, CTV News.
Oh, it truly was. Just gorgeous. Not surprised all those folks headed out there.
Listen, I did the exact same thing when I was at the park last week, taking all those pictures. But it's so much fun, and it really is this community type of feeling when you're there. So everyone's there doing the same thing, enjoying the flowers, and we only have them for such a short time. So get out and enjoy them while you can. Today was a great day. Your next really clear day is probably Friday to go check out those flowers if you want the brilliant sunshine. But for now, it's really beautiful out there. We're holding on to a clear sky. High pressure is sticking around for at least one more day, and then we watch for a little bit of active weather to make its way in. Temperature-wise, as we head in towards the day tomorrow, things are going to stay a little bit warmer, closer to seasonal, but overall, it is not too bad. Making our way in towards the afternoon, that's when the showers start to roll in, and then things get a little bit messy, but overall, it's not a wash of a day tomorrow, so just keep that in mind. If you want to do things, do it in the first half of the day, and then getting in towards our Thursday, Friday, things start to clear up, and it will be quite beautiful.
Thank you, Jessica. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zraida Allman with our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and all of us here at CTV News, thank you for watching and have a great night.